All right, guys, so we're going to read Westlandia by Paul Leishman. I don't know how to say that. Does anybody have any idea what it's about by looking at the cover? What do you think, Mackenzie?
I think it's a little girl that's walking through a big garden.
That's a good idea. Does everyone else think that that could be what the story's about? What do you think, Silas?
A boy with fruit, and he makes he can I tell what the story's about?
No, not yet.
Silas.
Okay, I'm gonna get started. Okay. The first page is, "Of course he's miserable," moaned Wesley's mother. "He sticks out like a nose," snapped his father. Who do you think sticks out? Julie? The boy? Why do you think he sticks out?
Nope, I can't tell.
You read the book, what do you think?
Can't tell.
Bad, is that what you said?
Bad.
Bad? Alright. Listening through the heating vent, Wesley knew they were right. He was an outcast from civilization around him. He alone in his town disliked pizza and soda, alarming his mother and the school nurse. He found professional football stupid. He'd refuse to shave half of his head, the hairstyle worn by all the other boys, despite his father's bribe of $5. Why do you think he wanted to shave his head like everyone else? Doesn't even know what to do. What do you think, Joey?
So you can fit in.
But he said he refused to shave his head. Maybe he just doesn't want to fit in. Passing his neighborhoods, two styles of housing, garage on the left and garage on the right, Wesley alone dreamed of more exciting forms of shelter. He had no friends, but plenty of tormentors. Why do you think he has tormentors? What do you think?
Because they're mad at him for not doing it their way and
Because he doesn't fit in. Fleeing from them was the only sport he was good at.
jumping over it with an apple.
Each afternoon, his mother asked him what he'd learned that day. That seeds are carried great distances by the wind, he answered on Wednesday. That each civilization has its staple food crop, he answered on Thursday. That school's over and I should find a good summer project, he answered on Friday. As always, his father mumbled, I'm sure you'll use that knowledge often. Do you think he was being kind of sarcastic when he said that?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Wesley knows all this information. That's a lot to know for a little guy. Can you see that? Suddenly, Wesley's thoughts shot sparks. His eyes blazed. His father was right. He could actually use what he learned that week for a summer project that would top all others. He would grow his own staple food crop and found his own civilization. What do you think, Shaylee? The next morning, he turned over a plot of ground in the yard. That night, the wind blew in from the west. It raced through the trees and set his curtains snapping. Wesley lay awake, listening. His land was being planted. "5 days later, the first seedling appeared. You'll have an almighty bedlam on your hands if you don't get those weeds out," warned his neighbor. "Actually, that's my crop," said Wesley. "In this type of garden, there are no weeds. Following ancient tradition, Wesley's fellow gardeners grew tomatoes, beans, Brussels sprouts, and nothing else. Wesley found it thrilling to open his land to chance, to invite new and unknown. What do you think those plants are that he's growing? What do you think, Mason?
Roses.
Roses? That's a good idea. They kind of look like they could be roses. Have you read the book with Kaya?
Yes.
Don't tell me.
I
Have you read it? What do you think they are?
I think they are tomatoes, beans, and Brussels.
Oh, you do?
I read like the book before.
The plants shot up past his knees, then his waist. They seemed to be all of the same sort. Wesley couldn't find them in any plant book. Are those tomatoes, beans, or Brussels sprouts? Asked Wesley's neighbor. None of the above, replied Wesley. Do you still think they're roses?
No.
No.
I don't know what those are.
I know what they
I know what they are. They
Don't
should be
tell.
weeds. They should be weeds because they're really, really
Fruit appeared, yellow at first, then blushing to magenta. Wesley picked one and sliced through it and rind a juicy purple center. He took a bite and found the taste an entrancing blend of peach, strawberry, pumpkin pie, and flavors he had no name for. Ignoring the shelf of cereals in the kitchen, Wesley took to breakfasting on the fruit. He cut, built his own squeezing device, and drank the fruit's juice throughout the day. Pulling up a plant, he found large tubers on the root. These he boiled, fried, or roasted on the family barbecue, seasoning them with a pinch of the plant's highly aromatic leaves. What do you guys think Wesley's parents thinking with all this going on? What do you think, Jolie?
He's crazy.
He's crazy? What do you think?
I think the same as Jolie, but I have a question.
What?
What's the name of the equation for pi?
You know the equation for pi? That's pretty cool. Okay. It was hot working tending to his crop. To keep off the sun, Wesley wove himself a hat from the strips of the plant's woody bark. His success with that hat inspired him to devise a spinning wheel and loom on which he wove a loose-fitting robe from the stalk's soft inner fibers. Unlike jeans, which he found scratchy and heavy, the robe was comfortable, reflected the sun, and offered myriad opportunities for pockets.
Does he live outside?
I think he's living in his big garden.
That might be likely
Tika?
true.
Do you see these guys over here?
Yeah.
What do you think they're doing?
Oh.
Do you think those might have been his tormentors? Like,
Yes.
ooh, what is he doing?
But they're stalking him.
His schoolmates were scornful, then curious. Grudgingly, Wesley allowed them 10 minutes apiece at his mortar, crushing the plant seeds to collect the oil. This oil had a tangy scent and served him both as suntan lotion and mosquito repellent. He rubbed it on his face each morning and sold small amounts to his former tormentors at the price of $10 per bottle. So now his tormentors kind of want to be his friends, don't they?
Tormentors.
Look at that long line.
Holy
That girl's like,
What happened to your watch? Asked his mother one day. Wesley admitted that he had no longer wore it. He told time by the stock he used as a sundial and had divided the day into 8 segments, the number of petals on each plant's flower. He adopted a new counting system as well, based likewise upon the number 8. His domain, home, had many such innovations. He named it Westlandia.
well, how does he, is that a clock?
It's kind of like a clock. Have you ever seen a sundial?
Yeah.
It tells time by where the shadow is.
That's cool.
It's confusing.
They are confusing.
He must be smart in order to build that, Uninterested in traditional sports, Wesley made up his own. These were designed for a single player and used many different parts of the plant. His spectators looked on with envy. Realizing that more players would offer him more scope, Wesley invented other games that would include his schoolmates. Games rich with strategy and complex scoring systems. He tried to be patient with others' players' blunders. I think he probably has to be patient because the other people don't catch on as fast as him. What do you guys think?
I bet you they fall over easier.
Probably. Look how tall they are on those stilts.
Kind of like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
It looks like Harry Potter.
that's a good connection. August was unusually hot. Wesley built himself a platform and took to sleeping in the middle of Westlandia. He passed the evenings playing a flute he'd fashioned from a stock or gazing up at the sky, renaming the constellations.
Why would you do that?
He could build a
Yeah, he could. He could.
There's him playing the flute. Who's in the window over there?
They're just like, what the heck? I want to live there.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
That'd be awesome.
What do you think, Shirley?
Possible.
I think maybe soon all the like plants or something are gonna be gone because you know they.
Whoa, that's a good prediction. That very well could happen. His parents noted Wesley's improved morale. It's the first time in years he's looked happy, said his mother. Wesley gave them a tour of Westlandia. What do you call this plant? Asked his father. Not knowing its name, Wesley had begun calling it Swiss, from the sound of leaves rustling in the breeze. In like manner, he named new fabrics, games, and foods until he created an entire language. How cool is that?
That's cool.
That is cool. Do you think anyone else would be able to understand this new language but him? Probably not.
I know how to talk. Bro, bunch of
Unless that he taught them. Yeah, you guys should try for your semester.
That's what I'm
See, look how blessed.
Look how, they must have a giant backyard. Look how big that is.
They must be rich.
I didn't think the sundial was so big.
Mixing the plant's oil with soot, Wesley made a passable ink. As his finale to the summer project, he used the ink and his own 80-lettered alphabet to record the history of civilization's founding. In September, Wesley returned to school. Do you guys know how many letters are in our alphabet?
26.
Nice. Imagine an alphabet with 80 letters. That's crazy.
Wait, can our alphabet have 66
I don't know.
letters?
What?
Can our alphabet have 66 letters?
26. He had no shortage of friends.
Holy cow.
Look, now he has a bunch of friends going back to school.
All of
Wow.
his stuff.
And I see his backyard.
Oh, look, I think this must be his
Language.
new language.
Oh.
It looks like Egyptian.
It looks funky, doesn't it?
It also looks like Chinese.
It looks like hieroglyphs.
It looks huge.
It looks like from like Egypt or something.
Have you guys ever tried to make up your own symbols for letters?
Yes,
I used to.
I've tried, but it never worked.
I failed.
I used to do that all the time. I'd make up different letters or different symbols for all the letters and make up my own
I made it.
when I was little. So what'd you guys think? Did you like it? It was interesting. He's a smart guy, isn't he?
How could that much fit in probably about the backyard? I live
Yeah, that was all.
this size.
I know. What do you think, Amelia?
I have a connection to this book.
Okay, let's hear it.
I live right below the cemetery, and there's a big hill
Mhm.
right next to the cemetery.
Yeah.
I have so many camps up there hitting those trees.
Do ya?
Unbelievable. I can't find my way down there. Camps. I have like HQ, secret hideout, another HQ. My brother has an HQ at my house. He's just like my candy.
I saw one of them.
What do you think, Mason?
Every time we went up to the mountains, we went to Oshawa.
Yeah.
And every single time every
really. What do you think, Charlize?
Like since this is my first time reading it,
Uh-huh.
I think like the story in my way kind of felt like it shouldn't have had a big one.
You think it
I
stopped
think we
too
should have
quickly,
made
kind of?
series and series.
Yeah. I feel like it kind of stopped suddenly too.
Cause he kept on making stuff, so like it should be like a series or something. Because these now to me these seem like kind of like everlasting plants. that
Yeah,
are, like,
because what's he gonna do now that he's back to school? Is he still gonna
yeah.
build all the stuff in there? Is
Or
he,
Maybe
he's
still gonna
like-
sleep there.
yeah.
I don't like it.
They could have added a little more, or maybe a second one. That's a good idea.
What he's gonna do.
Well, at least he has friends now that he went back to school, right? All of his tormentors became his friends.
Why would he want to
Okay, guys.
End of the